The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned, community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day.
From Sussex Central High School near Georgetown, Delaware, it's Delaware High School Softball, a top 10 matchup today on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports. We are on the JV field because the varsity field's being worked on, and it's in great shape for today's top 10 matchup between the host team, the 4th-ranked Sussex Central Golden Knights, who had been number 2 up until this week. That 1-0 loss to Laurel dropped them down 2 notches. They come in with a 7-2 record. The other loss they suffered to Stephen Decatur, a powerful Maryland Eastern Shore team who had a 10-game winning streak snapped by these Cape Henlopen Vikings. Cape comes in ranked number 10. That's their signature win on the season. It's the victory that they posted the last time out. So that's our matchup today. I'm Glenn Frazier. We got Brandon on the camera. It's a Benny Mitchell production, and next to me, my broadcast partner for this afternoon. As you can tell, it's a little windy coming through the microphones. Shannon Timmons. Shannon, glad to be with you again during another softball game. Not too bad weather-wise out here today, but this should be a very good matchup. And when you talk softball, you start in the circle.
Of course, and these two teams have had great rivalry for years. Abby Marsh, just a junior at Cape Henlopen. If we look through the roster, I'm sure we will at some point today, the Cape Henlopen Vikings are full of juniors. They have a large junior class, and then, of course, we have Madge Layfield going to take the circle for the Sussex Central team, and she's been a force to be reckoned with all 3 years of her high school career to date, and she has a wicked rise ball and can make the ball move a little bit, so that's always challenging for hitters.
Plus, Madge can hit a little bit.
Sure,
Last
she
time
can.
out, she belted a 2-run home run in a key win for them. I believe that was in the Lake Forest game.
Yeah, and Abby Marsh had a home run over at Sussex Tech, too. So both pitchers are going to be able to help themselves out, as batters as well today.
And the wind is blowing right directly toward our vantage point. We're down the left field line, and the wind is blowing in this direction. We're thinking we're probably going to see a little bit of power today, and if the ball gets up in the air, it's going to go out of here.
It is. And honestly, I think this game goes one of two ways. You have two excellent pitchers in the circle today that could dominate on both teams, and we could see a low-scoring game. Or if the hitters really come out and get hot early on, both of these teams have a lot of power in their lineup. So you're right, Glenn, we could see balls flying out of here today.
Let's take a look quickly at our top 10. It was just posted on our website this morning. At number 1, Caravel stays there, even though they lost to out-of-state power Rising Sun of Maryland. That was a fairly close ball game. By the way, Rising Sun will be in Middletown this week to take on the undefeated Appoquinimink Jaguars. So Caravel 6-1, they're ranked number 1. Appoquinimink, undefeated, moves up into the 2 spot. We have Laurel at 7-2, moving into number 3. Sussex Central also 7-2 in the 4 spot, then followed by St. Mark's at 7-1. A very good Lake Forest team at 8-1. They're only lost to the Golden Knights. They're ranked number 6. Polytech, they lost a close one to Lake Forest about 2 weeks ago. They're number 7 at 6-2. Then the bottom 3, number 8 DMA at 5-2. Indian River, the finalist from last year, losing to Caravel in the state championship game. They're 7-3. They've won 5 straight. They're one of the hottest teams in the state right now. They're at number 9. And number 10, these Cape Henlopen Vikings at 6-2. A couple of teams on the outside looking in that have pretty strong resumes. We're keeping an eye on Conrad upstate and the Caesar Rodney Riders. And what do you think of the top 10 there, Coach?
Well, I think you're spot on. Of those teams, if we look at the pitchers, a lot of senior pitching this year amongst those teams that should carry those teams into the tournament again this year. They are favorites usually going into the season of seeing them in postseason play. And while some teams graduated quite a few, their young players have stepped into roles and have really been productive for them. So that's exciting for their future years to come.
Okay, we are going to be right back and give you the starting lineups for the ball game this afternoon as the captains for both teams are now meeting at home plate along with the umpires and head coaches. And we'll do that when we come back right after this on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports.
First State Orthopedics has 46 physicians and 22 physician's assistants at 16 locations across the state of Delaware. We provide both surgical and non-surgical treatment for a variety of orthopedic conditions, are specially trained in current state-of-the-art techniques. We serve as team physicians for over 20 high schools, Wilmington University, and many local recreational and competitive leagues. Our doctors are readily available to all local emergency departments, medical aid units, and urgent care centers for consultation and treatment. Give us a call today at 302-731-2888 or visit us online at firststateortho.com.
All right, here are the starting lineups for the softball game today. We'll start with the visiting Cape Henlopen Vikings. Lead off, Ava Calciano, the shortstop. She comes into the game with a 15-game hitting streak. At third base, batting second, Olivia Hears. The catcher, Jalen Slater, will back third. In the cleanup spot, first baseman Hayden Hudson. Then the pitcher, Abby Marsh, in the fifth spot. Batting sixth in right field, Kenna Justice. Batting seventh, the left fielder, Natalia Roundtree. In center field, batting eighth, Bree Windish. And at second base, it's Eden Frederick. Of course, the coach is Mike Tack. Longtime involvement with high school football, former high school coach at Milford High School when they won a state championship a few years back. And Mike also very, very instrumental in Special Olympics events as well. Sussex Central head coach John Wells, he's been at the helm for quite a while. This is the lineup. Leading off, his shortstop, Kyla Davis. Then at second base, batting second, is Ava Brock. The third baseman, Lauren Myers, will hit third. Madge Layfield, the pitcher, bats cleanup. In right field, Kirsten Anderson behind Layfield. Then the catcher, Kat Hassler. First baseman, Carly Kruger. Then the DP for today, Eikenberry. Center fielder is Avery Savage. She'll bat ninth. And out in left field, not in the batting order, is Caroline Holston. And I think an interesting thing when you take a look at Sussex Central's lineup, Shannon, is 3/4 of the infield are freshmen.
Yeah. He's posting a really young roster right now. We're looking at the first baseman, second baseman, and third baseman. Obviously, Madge as a senior in the circle. Kyla Davis at short, also a senior. Kat Hassler behind the plate, also a senior. So he's got opposite ends of the spectrum. He's got those older, experienced kids with some leadership out there today, and he's got a young crew that will grow into those roles as they progress through their high school years, and they learn how to win and how to do this from those upperclassmen.
We'll be talking periodically throughout our live stream about the Henlopen Conference and what's going on. These two teams right here battling for first place in the Henlopen North. Yes.
And again, we said this earlier, these two teams square off, and it's always a good rivalry, and it's always a great softball game between these two schools, and they're both well coached. Wells has been at the helm for years and years, and while Tack's relatively new, he's got some experience to lean on. He's got a couple of travel ball coaches that have made their way into school ball, and so they have some coaching experience to help him out. One of his coaches, Allison Sullivan, played at Cape. She's coached in the Cape program for 20 plus years, so she's out here to help out and get those girls some experience.
All right, we're about ready for the first pitch as the catcher, Kat Hassler, throws it down, and it'll go around the infield. The infielders now meeting at the mound in the circle with Madge Layfield, and our leadoff batter for Cape Henlopen, the shortstop, Ava Calciano, as we mentioned, comes into the game with a 15-game hitting streak. And here's an interesting fact. In that win over Stephen Decatur for Cape, every batter in the lineup had a hit in the game.
Yeah. Ava's also leading in most of the offensive categories at Cape. I got some stats from Coach Tack earlier today. She's sitting with a .560 batting average, 12 walks, 2 home runs. So definitely getting her job done out of the leadoff spot. You want that hitter on base to let the rest of the lineup move her and score runs.
She's in the hole 0-2, swung at the first pitch. That's a called strike. Yeah, you want to get that speed on and put some pressure on the defense if you can. 0-2 pitch, down and low. A ball and 2 strikes to Calciano. On deck, the third baseman, Olivia Hears.
We talk pitching a lot. Obviously, that's sort of my thing. And Madge has always done a good job of getting ahead of her hitters. That has been something that over the years she just continues to get better and better at.
That's what happens when somebody unplugs your cord. That four-wheeler ran right over top of it. Showing bunt and easily swiping second base is Ava Calciano. And there's what you talked about earlier, Shannon, the importance of getting that fast leadoff batter on base.
Yeah, and that's been a signature of Cape's team the past couple of years. They have some speed, and they're not afraid to try to steal early on, move runners into scoring position, and then let the hitters come up and do their job.
Here swings through that one. I missed the first pitch. Was that a ball?
She squared to bunt.
Okay, she didn't pull back?
I don't know if he calls it a strike or not. I don't know if
Okay.
he said it was on the attempt or not.
All right. Well,
So
now
it
we
must
know
have
it
been.
was.
Must
Third
have been.
pitch. There's out number 1. That brings up the catcher, Jalen Slater. Calciano at second base. Just underway here in this one.
Slater with a .296 batting average, 2 home runs to her credit this season.
And she took a swipe at the first pitch, a little low in the zone. But once again, getting ahead in the count is Layfield. And she's on the rubber with the 0-1 pitch. Called strike.
What makes Madge so difficult for hitters is her quick delivery. She has such a fast arm circle that the ball is literally on top of you before you even know it, and that really does affect a hitter's timing. So sometimes we see them struggle early on, and by the time they get their second or third at bat, they start to get a little bit of timing down, but she is very difficult to pick up because she does have such a quick arm circle.
You know, having speed on your pitches is one thing, but movement on the ball is another thing, and where you start that movement, she has a really good drop ball. And just getting a piece of that one is Slater to stay alive at 0-2.
Yeah, Madge is what we call a north-south pitcher. She throws a nice rise ball or at least a high fastball. She likes to work down in the zone too, so those batters are going to have to cue. And basically you pick one, right? You decide you're going to hunt low or you're going to hunt high. It's very hard to hunt both in and at bat, so you have to try to make some decisions along the way.
And that one hit her. It came in high and tight. Calciano was moving on the pitch. He has to retreat back to second. So runners are first and second with 1 out here for Hayden Hudson.
And interestingly enough, this is cousin against
Yeah.
cousin.
How about that? Hayden, a real good athlete, one of the better basketball players in the Henlopen Conference.
And she's really matured as a softball player as well. We've seen her kind of increase her playing time year to year, which is what you would expect for a player to do. She's increased batting average year to year. And that's what you look for when you have a player that comes in as a freshman and may struggle a little bit or get a little bit of playing time, start to get acclimated. You look for every year for them to get better, and she's certainly taking that role.
Getting the sign from the bench and the pitching coach, Layfield's delivery. A little high for a ball. Now, this is the 4th batter she's faced in the inning. That's the first time she's going out of the zone on the first pitch.
Madge doesn't waste a lot of pitches. She's usually flirting around the zone most of the time.
Good one there. A lot of movement on that fastball. Swinging through it was Hudson. So the count's 1-1.
And that's important in the longevity of a pitcher. The more you throw, the more tired you get. So you want to make your pitches efficient, keep them around the zone.
That one's high. 2 balls and a strike to her cousin, Hayden Hudson. Calciano at second base. Slater over at first. She was hit by a pitch. And now the 2-1 delivery. taking all the way. It's a strike, trying to steal third, and Calciano is out. Good throw by Kat Hassler.
And that leaves the courtesy runner. I can't see a number. The courtesy runner at first base for Jalen Slater.
Oh, I'm sorry. They brought in a runner. Fouled off. Count 2-2 now on Hudson.
Jalen Slater as the catcher.
No, that's number 17 on first.
Is it?
So that is Slater. And now we have a 2-2 pitch coming to Hudson. That one is going to be hanging up there in that wind and just drops between three players. Count holds a 2-2.
And now that we had a chance to see that runner, Glenn, it's actually number 10. So they did
was
put a
it?
courtesy in.
Thought I saw a 17 there.
Their jerseys are hard to read from the front with the numbers on them. With Jalen doing the catching duties today for Cape, I'm not surprised there's a courtesy in for her.
So the runner's Olivia Mikulski, a freshman.
Still a 2-2 count on Hudson. 2 outs. See if she can put something in play.
She does. Ground ball, and that's foul down the first baseline. Cool. The wind is brutal.
It would not be a softball game in Sussex County without the wind.
Especially in April.
We joke about it all the time, right?
Layfield ready with the 2-2 pitch. Called. No, it's a ball. So that count was actually full. One must have missed a pitch in there. So that is the second walk of the inning, along with a hit batter. And that brings up the Cape pitcher, Abby Marsh. So she gets a base hit through the left side. They're going to send the runner, and she's safe. And a quick 1-0 lead for the Cape Henlopen Vikings. Marsh just jumping on that first pitch.
Put it right in that 5-6 hole. Made its way to left field. Still have runners at first and second with 2 outs as Kenna Justice, number 24, the right fielder for Cape, comes to the plate.
Started to go on that pitch and checked her swing. It's a called strike. So the only hit in this top half of the first for Cape gets a run home. Called strike, and quickly Kenna is in the hole 0-2.
I would say it's a little uncharacteristic of Madge to see this many hitters in the first inning. So credit to Cape for being patient, drawing a couple walks.
And that will end the inning on a called third strike. We'll keep it right here as on one hit, 2 runners left on, 1 run across. So top half of the first, the Vikings on the board with a run. And we'll see the Sussex Central Golden Knights coming up now in their half of the first. It'll be Davis, Brock, and Myers, the scheduled batters. Shortstop, second base, and third base for head coach John Wells.
And he's got Tequila Davis leading off. She is committed to Arizona State to go play softball. We don't see too many players from our area go that far. So credit to her and her ability to move on and get an education and continue her softball career out there. Of course, Madge Layfield headed to Central Arkansas. So of his 4 seniors, he's got 2 Division I commits.
That's great to see. And you and I were talking before we came on the air. Peyton Dixon, a Smyrna High grad who was playing very, very good softball down in Florida. You have several girls that went to Delaware High Schools playing for Wilmington University right here in the home state. And, of course, they went all the way to the World Series last year.
Delaware has had a lot of our players move on to the collegiate level and continue their education while they get to play softball for another 4 years. And it's just a credit to the work that they put in as younger players and high school players. Many of them obviously play travel ball and get different exposure because we can't do that through the high school ranks and get them that exposure. But we have a lot of kids that go on and at all different levels. It's some go to JUCO, some go to Florida and go to a JUCO school for a couple of years, and then they make their way into a Division II situation or Division I situation.
Yeah, I know I'm probably leaving out several players that don't come to mind right away, but one does down in Liberty University, and that's she played for Delmarva Christian last year, was the Gatorade Player of the Year, their fine pitcher.
Yeah, Kaylin Yoder.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yoder. And I think she was just named Rookie of the Week in that conference this past week.
Rachel Crane is down there at Liberty as well. She played at Red Lion here in Delaware.
That's right.
And of course, Salisbury University gets a bunch of our really quality softball players. They're very successful down there.
Underway here in the bottom of the first. Davis at bat, 1-1 count on that pitch, a called strike from Marsh. We'll set up Cape Henlopen's defense here after this pitch. Nope, the ball coming out our way and just foul. And almost goes all the way to my car. Benny Mitchell going to retrieve the foul ball. Good man, our producer today. Long strike on Davis. 1-2 pitch.
If Davis can get something in play, she's got wheels too, Glenn. Interesting that both shortstops are leading off. Both have speed.
Count runs 2-2. All right, here's Cape's defense. Slater behind the dish. Marsh in the circle. Hudson at first. Frederick at second. Cassiano at short. And Here's at third. Around the outfield, it's Justice, Windish, and Roundtree. Here's a shot out here to left. And caught on the run by the left fielder for Sussex Central, Caroline Holston. So Davis is retired. That brings up the second baseman, Ava Brock. First pitch from Marsh.
Brock, one of the freshmen that we see in the Golden Knights lineup today, playing second base.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. Ground ball right up the middle. Good pick by the shortstop over to first. And there is out number 2. Good play there by Calciano.
Ava Calciano is Cape Henlopen's junior shortstop. She is committed to UConn.
Going to go north to play softball. Most of the Delaware players go south.
Yeah. Well, she'll go south. They'll send her to Florida for the first part of the season anyway.
First pitch from Marsh, a fastball right down the middle. Called strike on Myers. Marsh trying to get a shutdown inning after she knocked in the first run of the game. Second pitch, again, right down the middle, 0-2 count. Abby Marsh trying to go 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the first. That's a ball.
Abby's matured as a pitcher. She's got a really nice curveball, really nice screwball, throws a changeup, so she can mix speeds a little bit as well as clip the corners of the plate.
That one misses inside. Count runs 2-2 on Myers. Layfield is on deck.
Myers, another one of the freshmen for the Golden Knights.
That's high for ball 3, so full count on Myers.
And nice discipline at the plate by Myers to start 0-2 and then be patient, not chase anything.
Here's the full count pitch. Swung on, ground ball, left side. Calciano up with a strong throw, but she beat it out. And there's the first hit of the game for the Golden Knights. That'll bring up Madge
See if this pitcher can help her cause like Abby did in the previous inning.
Holston, the left fielder, just to the left of our tent here in broadcast point. She is very deep for Layfield, respecting her power, especially with this wind blowing out the left. Pitch is taken high for a ball. I get the feeling that I feel like I'm in a wind tunnel.
I know. I don't know what the forecasted wind is for the rest of the day, but this is brutal.
I think Benny and I were both checking our cell phones earlier, and it was like sustained winds of 12 miles per hour. I think right now the sustained winds are about 25 miles an hour.
Slater trying to pick her off at first base, but was unsuccessful.
That's down low. 4 straight balls. Marsh really respecting her counterpart's power, and she doesn't give Madge Layfield anything to hit. So after getting the first 2 outs, a base hit and a walk, and now here's the right fielder, Kirsten Anderson. They're going to run for Layfield. Trying to pick up that number, just got a tough angle right now. Looks like it might be 12 or 13. It's 13, I think.
Hadley Schwartz, courtesy runner.
All right, we got the change in. Nice pitch down low in the zone, called strike.
Kirsten Anderson at the plate, one of the experienced seniors for this Sussex Central team. Puts a ball in play, and it is going to drop into center field.
So
1 run will score.
Yep, very easily. Throwing into that wind, it makes it tough.
It is tough. The outfielders have their work cut out for them today if they're trying to throw home.
So we got a tie ball game here.
Meyer scores. That puts the courtesy runner Schwartz at third, and Anderson into second on the throw that went home.
And that brings up Kat Hassler, the catcher. Chance to put the Golden Knights ahead here. And there's a shot center field going back and making the catch to retire the side, the center fielder for Cape. Bree Windish. So at the end of 1 inning, we're all tied up at 1-1, and we'll be right back for the second inning after this.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer, president of Sodell Concepts, the best restaurant group in the state, and we're inviting you to come join our team. Sodell Concepts is a growing hospitality company with 16 restaurants and a variety of other hospitality businesses, all located in beautiful southern Delaware. We have recently added many departments to our executive leadership team, including a training department, a property development department, and a construction department. We invite you to come live at the beach and work with a growing restaurant group with many opportunities to advance your career. Sodell Concepts Restaurant Group, come check us out.
All right, here we go to start the second inning. It'll be the bottom of the order for Cape Henlopen against Madge Layfield. And leading off the left fielder, Roundtree. First pitch is way out in front of that one and fouled it away. 1-1 ball game here at Sussex Central. Windish is on deck, and Eden Frederick in the hole.
Roundtree having a good season at the plate, batting .391 for the Vikings.
Roundtree takes a look down to third base coach, the head coach, Mike Tack. That one's down low for a ball.
I was talking to Coach Tack today, and we'll give a shout out. Our broadcast is making its way all the way to Lehighton, Pennsylvania today. He's got one of his buddies listening in.
Okay. There's a shot out into left center field, and the center fielder coming in making the catch for Sussex Central is Savage. One up, one down here in the top of the second. That brings up Bree Windish, the center fielder for the Vikings.
Windish just hitting 136 this year. Has struggled a little bit at the plate, but we'll see what she can do today against Madge.
Out in front of that pitch a little bit. Swing and a miss, and a strike on Windish. On deck is Eden Frederick. And pitch high. Ball and a strike to Windish. Big baseball game today, too, between these two teams. Two of the better teams in the state.
Yeah.
Cape Henlopen and Sussex Central baseball team.
Cape's going to look to bounce back after that tough loss they had at Sussex Tech last week.
I think Nick Halliday had both of them ranked in the top 3 in his most recent baseball rankings. That one down low for a ball.
Just one strike to Windish right now. Madge's got to come back and find the zone.
Yeah, she's already walked 2 batters in the game. Allowed 1 hit. That was to Abby Marsh. There's a swing and a miss. That'll run the count full. Both teams left 2 runners on base, stranded 2 in the first inning. Payoff pitch, swing and a miss, and a strikeout for Layfield. 2 gone, that brings up Eden Frederick.
Frederick gives you the option of a lefty slapper. She can hit away, but she can also run through that box and see if she can get something in play. See a little shift here by Sussex Central on the defensive end.
Swing and a miss on the first pitch. Yeah, Frederick, a true slapper. She takes that running start in the box.
One of the faster kids on the team at Cape.
That missed high, ball and a strike. Nice luxury to have a batter like that at the bottom of your order. Like you say, they set the table for the top.
Absolutely.
Layfield with a 1-1 pitch. Fouled away.
It's something that a lot of coaches consider. You know, back in the day, it was like you put some of your worst hitters down in the bottom of the lineup, and that's really changed in the game of softball, where you want an 8-9 hitter to be able to bunt, to be able to slap, to get on base. So when you roll that order over, here comes the top of your lineup. The most consistent batter you have should be your leadoff hitter with the highest on-base percentage, and then comes all your power. And it just generates a lot of offense in our game.
Count is 2-2 to Frederick. 2 outs here in the top of the second. Waiting on deck for an opportunity is Ava Calciano. Layfield ready with the 2-2 delivery. Check swing. Down low and another full count. Second one in this inning, fourth full count for Layfield in the game.
She's done a good job of jumping out ahead of him, but then she struggles to finish the deal.
Nice line drive, but caught right at the second baseman, Ava Brock, to end the top of the second inning. So a 1-2-3 inning for Madge Layfield. As we go to the bottom of the second in a tie game, 1-1. And coming up for Sussex Central should be Kruger, Eichenberry, and Savage.
Yeah, and Glenn, as we look around the games that are going on today in softball, we have Caesar Rodney taking on Sussex Tech. Sussex Tech is leading 2-1 in the second inning. Lake Forest has a big game today. It is still 0-0. They are playing Indian River. We'll keep you guys updated as those games progress. Polytech is up 2-0 at Milford currently. And Smyrna is up 7-0 at Dover. Some of those are conference games that could shift around a little bit, maybe change your top 10 as we head into next week.
It hasn't really had a whole lot of movement, tell you the truth, in this early part of the season. Usually you'll see some movement at the bottom, but I haven't had a whole lot there. And really, the only changes in this week were dropping Sussex Central from 2 to 4 and then moving up Apple and Laurel. Everything else stayed the same.
Yeah, and that was a close game that Sussex Central had with Laurel. I think it was a pass ball that Laurel scored that run on and was able to come away with that 1-0 win.
Yeah, a girl had tripled. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. Bailey
Ullman?
Lynch?
Lynch.
Maybe? Bailey Lynch.
They have
That's
two
who it was.
Baileys.
Yeah. Yeah, she tripled and scored on that pass ball you talked about, and that was the difference in a really good pitcher's duel between Kylie Hill and Madge Layfield. They've had a few friendly battles over the last few years.
Yes, they have. And I'll tell you what, this Cape team, I watched the Caravel Cape Henlopen game, and they had a pitcher's duel when they went up to Caravel with Casey Zanitis and Abby Marsh, and it was 0-0 till the sixth inning until, Caravel was able to break it open and end up winning 5-0. But that was a close game for quite a while.
Yeah, it certainly was. Cape held their own with their number one team. There's a line drive up the middle and a base hit. So the lead runner is on here in the bottom of the second for the Golden Knights in the form of Kruger.
We'll have to pay attention. It's Carly Kruger. We know her sister Kylie played over at Sussex Tech. I made a note to make sure we said the correct first name.
Okay. Brings up the designated player. And I believe that was a called strike on Eichenberry.
Eichenberry in that DP position for the flex. Carolyn Holston, who's out in left field for Sussex Central today. That gives, I love that rule. That DP flex gives coaches so much flexibility and opportunity to play more players in a game, to just have some flexibility. You can go from 10 players down to 9 players, back to 10 players.
Pitch is a little inside. 2-1 count to Eichenberry. With Kruger in first. Savage is on deck. And then it'll be around to the top of the order for Coach John Wells. That one missed outside. Boy, there's a nice little break in the weather.
Eichenberry, another one of the freshmen we're seeing today for John Wells.
Ground ball right to the pitcher. Marsh turns, throws to second, gets one back to first, and they couldn't connect. So they'll get the lead runner. That's Calciano taking the throw from Marsh.
Give Eichenberry a fielder's choice on that. It's nice to see pitchers defend their position well, so credit to Abby Marsh there.
One out. That brings up Savage, the center fielder, with a runner at first base.
Avery Savage, a sophomore here on this roster. Looks like she tried to be a little sneaky with that bunt. Just couldn't get it down.
And what is, I guess the umpire's just cleaning the plate. It went in and out of the catcher's glove, Slater. The umpire wanted to make sure that there was nothing there. That didn't come off the bat. And there's a called strike right down the middle. Marsh with a fastball. As expected, a good ball game so far, tied at 1. That's up high. Barry over at first. There's a ground ball right back to Marsh. Couldn't handle it. Picked up by the second baseman, but did not have a play. Hard hit ball. I think you have to call that a hit.
Yeah, and that's going to put runners at first and second as Central will roll the order to the top, back to Tequila Davis.
Yeah, she flied out to left field to lead off in the first inning. First pitch, called strike. I think we can both agree that Davis certainly is a candidate for All-State.
Absolutely. Without question.
Second pitch, taken high and tight. Ball on the strike to Davis.
She's been a force to be reckoned with on this team for the past couple of years and wouldn't be going to Arizona State if she wasn't.
Exactly. Takes that pitch high. 2 balls and a strike to Davis with 1 out. And runners at first and second here in the bottom of the second inning. Central trying to take the lead here. Fly ball out to right center. Caught by the center fielder.
The runner from second will tag.
Now she's going to be sent home, and they've got the runner between first and second in a rundown. And somehow she got back to first base, so it's a 2-1 lead now for Sussex Central on the sac fly by Davis.
You know, not necessarily a bad move. That runner from second base tags on the catch, and Wells sends her home. The runner gets tied up in between first and second. I'm not quite sure how she made it back, actually, because it looked like Kay had her dead to rights. But
it did.
But she was able to sneak back in there.
Yeah, it's a good base running move by Coach Wells there, because you had the outfielder throwing into the wind. And when the ball was bobbled just a moment, he went ahead and sent the runner home, and knowing she's probably going to make it. Now a steal opportunity, and safe down there at second base is Savage. Brock at the plate. Another runner in scoring position for the Golden Knights. And that's fouled back and out of play on the first base side. A 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the second for the Golden Knights, trying to add another run. I believe the count is 1-2.
That's what I have as well.
Popped up in the infield. Calciano calls for it, fights the wind, can't pick it up, and everybody's safe. That was really tough.
Yeah, this wind is going to just wreak havoc with any ball that gets up in the air. The outfielders are going to have a tough day, and if it's a pop-up in the infield, again, we just saw Calciano just fighting the wind, trying to track that down. Just couldn't quite get a handle on it.
That brings up the third baseman, Myers, as we have a timeout. Cape Henlopen gathering the entire infield and the battery in the circle. Because Myers is coming up. She singled back in the first and scored the first run of the game for the Golden Knights. She's up with runners at first and second.
Yeah, she had a nice little shot here on this left side of the field through the 5-6 hole.
I'm trying to put my back to the wind and help things out a tad. And so's the rest of the crew. All right, timeout is over. Base runner's back at first and second base. That's Savage at second, Brock at first. And the batter, the third baseman, Lauren Myers, the freshman. One of many. Called strike on the first pitch.
And she went 0-2 against Marsh in her first at-bat before she worked to a full count and eventually got herself a base hit. So showing some discipline at the plate. Fouls that one off.
So she's in the hole, 0-2 again.
Two outs here, bottom of the second.
Marsh ready for the 0-2 pitch. Ground ball through the middle and a hit. That'll score another run. Throw back to the infield, and they can't get the runner at third base, so Myers will move up on the throw to second, and the Golden Knights extending their lead now to 3-1.
Puts Ava Brock at second base. I'm sorry, third base.
Right.
Puts Lauren Myers at second.
For the pitcher, Madge Layfield, who was walked unintentionally, intentionally.
I agree with that, yes. They threw to her, but they didn't give her anything she could hit.
No. Now let's see what they do this time with the base open.
So 2 outs, 2 runners in scoring position for John Wells and his Golden Knights.
First pitch to Layfield was high in the zone, so she has seen 5 pitches, every one of them a ball.
And I think what Cape's got to figure out here is how to lessen the damage with 2 outs.
Nope. She gets a ground ball to third, up with it, throw to first, and out of the inning is Abby Marsh and the Vikings, but not before the Golden Knights pick up 2 runs in the inning on 3 hits and 1 Cape Henlopen Viking error. So we are through 2 innings. It's Sussex Central 3-1 over Cape. Back for the 3rd inning of action right after this.
Looking to stay cool this summer?
At Barclay Heating and Air, we're dedicated to keeping your home comfortable year-round.
Family owned and operated, we provide trusted residential heating and cooling services to customers across Central Delaware. Our experienced technicians offer reliable maintenance and repairs on all major brand HVAC systems. From air conditioners and ductless systems to heat pumps and furnaces, we also sell and install top quality units. No matter your needs, we're committed to getting the job done right with honest and timely service you can count on. Invested in our community, we're proud to help families in more ways than one, sponsoring and donating to many local programs and organizations throughout the area for dependable HVAC services. Give us a shout or a bark at Barclay Heating and Air.
And we are back here at Sussex Central today with the sunshine at least, but it is a dead wind direct out here to left field where we are positioned. Sussex Central leads 3-1 as we go to the top of the 3rd inning. Cape has rolled their lineup over. We will see Ava Calciano, the shortstop, Olivia Heers, the 3rd baseman, and then Jalen Slater, the catcher. Slater had a hit, and her courtesy runner, Mikulski, scored the 1 run for the Vikings. Layfield takes the rubber. Gets set to pitch.
High for a ball. I'm back. Had to go grab some more clothes. Ava Calciano walked to start off the game and then was erased. And that pitch is also high for a ball. Attempting to steal. Thrown out at third base by Kent Hassler.
And that's kind of Cape's signature. They get her on, and she's got some speed. She's a smart softball player. Her softball IQ is very high, so they see if they can move her into scoring position right away once they get her on.
Well, she's got a 3-0 count here.
Yeah.
And that one's in for a strike.
And with her stats on the year, I'm not surprised they're kind of being real careful and pitching around her as well.
Layfield checks the wristband. 3-1 pitch, ground ball, right side, and foul. So the count runs full. I'm going to sneak over here behind our cameraman, Brandon Hill, because we're in the sun over here. It's a little nicer. Fly ball, shallow, and that's going to drop. She's going to hustle to second, and believe it or not, that blue pit falls in for a double. Calciano on base for the second time of the game. And she's down there with Olivia Hears coming up. Hears struck out back in the first.
Carolyn Holston trying to track that ball in the wind. I think that got away from her as well. Once it gets up there in the wind, it's swirling around a little bit today. It's tough for them to track that.
Hears steps out.
Is that runner in scoring position already for the Vikings in the inning?
Yep. Swing and a miss, and a strike on Hears. You think Ava might be a little more careful about attempting a third base steal after she got thrown out in the first inning, huh, Shannon?
She might be, but you know what? Tack likes to run them, so we'll see if that's in the plan in this inning or not.
Here's the delivery. Ground ball right toward Layfield. Out at first, but Calciano will move up a bag to third base. So Hears goes out 1-3. First out of the inning. Calciano down to third, and that brings up Slater. She was hit by a pitch after she got behind in the count. Takes a pitch high for a ball. And then the courtesy runner that came in for her after she was hit by a pitch scored, which is right now the only run for Cape.
Mikulski scored, and Matt just having a little bit of a hard time with the top end of the zone.
That was hit off the end of the bat. Line drive right to short for the out.
Doesn't allow Calciano to go anywhere at third. Nice pickup by Davis at short. That'll bring Hayden Hudson, the 4-hitter, to the plate, who walked her first at-bat. Again, cousin against cousin here.
Got it up in the air. That could be an adventure. Second base drifts out and makes the catch. That's Ava Brock to end the inning and strand Calciano at third base. So we go to the bottom half of the third. Golden Knights still on top by a count of 3-1 in this ball game between the 4th-ranked Sussex Central team and number 10 Cape Henlopen. So one hit in that half inning for Cape Henlopen. One left on, no errors.
Madge Layfield just with 2 strikeouts on the day, which is a little uncharacteristic for her. And I'm wondering if the wind is having any effect on the pitchers.
I'm wondering about myself.
As well as, fielders obviously, but I'm wondering if it's having any effect on the pitching.
I'm tending to agree with you. When the wind's strong enough that it can blow pens off the table, we still haven't found that one either. I don't get it. It's a red pen. It's green grass. What's the problem? Anywho, ready to go for the bottom half of the third inning. Golden Knights with a 3-1 lead. And they will have Kirsten Anderson, the right fielder, up first. then Kat Hassler, the catcher, and then Carly Kruger, who is the first baseman. Anderson singled and knocked in the first run of the game for the Golden Knights back in the first inning. First pitch, fly ball coming out to left, and coming in and making a nice catch, the left fielder, Roundtree. One pitch, one out here, bottom of the third.
Marsh has just walked one batter. She's given up 5 hits and 3 runs so far today.
Kat Hassler now.
Had a fly ball to center field in her first at-bat.
And takes a strike at the knees.
Strike zone today seems to be sitting a little bit low. So that's going to keep the pitchers working down in the zone.
Ground ball right back to Marsh. She stabs it and throws to first for out number 2. So pretty efficient so far in this inning. 3
Absolutely.
pitches. And that brings up Carly Kruger. She singled in her only time at bat. Marsh trying to get her first 1-2-3 inning. And a called strike, low in the zone, just like you've been calling it. But you've got to decide, okay, that's the way this umpire's going to call it. We've got to go with that and making the adjustment.
And the pitchers have to make the adjustment. You know, Madge is keeping the ball up in the zone a little bit, and she's struggling to get that call. That was just hit right back off the end of the bat to Abby Marsh.
Yeah,
Quick 1-2-3 inning there for the Vikings.
She got her first 1-2-3 inning, so 3 innings in the books. We'll be back for inning number 4 as Sussex Central leads 3-1 right after this.
Welcome to Surf Bagel.
Surf Bagel has served the community in Delaware for over 20 years, providing fresh, hot bagels, breakfast sandwiches, lunch sandwiches, wraps, salads, local coffee and smoothies, and our iconic merch. Welcome to Surf Bagel. We're stoked to serve you.
Welcome to Surf Bagel.
Okay, 3 innings in the books, and it's a 3-1 lead for the 4th-ranked Golden Knights of Sussex Central over number 10, Cape Henlopen. And leading off here for Cape in the top of the 4th, it'll be the pitcher, Abby Marsh, followed by Kenna Justice and Natalia Roundtree.
Marsh singled in her first at-bat, helped herself out, scoring Mikulski, who was the courtesy runner for Jalen Slater.
All right, Madge Layfield has the call from the dugout, checks the wristband, steps on the rubber, and we're ready to go to start the 4th inning. Pitch down low and missed low for a ball.
Umpire today seems to have a tight zone. It's low, and he isn't budging on his strike zone at all.
Abby Marsh singled her first time at bat. There's a shot down the left field line, goes foul. She drove in the only run for the Vikings back in the first. One count on Marsh.
Marsh has moved herself up in the conversation of pitchers in the Henlopen Conference. You know, you've got Madge, you've got Everton at Polytech,
Sumter at Lake Forest.
Sumter at Lake. You've got Kylie Hill over in Laurel, but you know, Abby Marsh has worked her way into that conversation as well as one of the top pitchers in the Henlopen Conference.
Got it up in the air, behind the plate, and catcher couldn't make the play. Again, Kat Hassler battling against that brutal wind. Count runs 2-2 on Marsh. See if she can take advantage of that in this second opportunity. way out in front of that one and fouls a straight back. Count still 2-2. We're in the top of the 4th inning here at Sussex Central. Golden Knights on top, 3-1.
That one run coming for Cape in the 1st inning. Have to see if they can keep some sort of offensive production going. And that is a strikeout for Madge on the swing.
Looked like an outside pitch and a lot of movement on that one.
It's her 3rd strikeout of the day. Brings Kenna Justice to the plate.
It was a strikeout victim in the 1st inning. Swings at the first pitch.
And like I said, for Madge to only have 3 strikeouts in the top of the 4th, I'm sorry. For a kid who usually, puts up 10, 11, 12 strikeouts a game, credit to Cape Henlopen for being patient.
That one's fouled back and out of play, so quickly Justice in the hole, 0-2. Roundtree is on deck. Of course, a lot of construction going on down here. New high school being built right back behind the softball field here. Called 3rd strike, and for the 2nd time, Justice is caught looking.
And Central's done a great job to get this field in shape. It was their JV field, and now it's become their home varsity field. They've done a lot of work here to get this field in good shape. It looks great out here today. Brings Tally Roundtree to the plate, who flied to center in her 1st at-bat.
That one misses low. Had to hesitate for a second, make sure the ump wasn't going to call it a strike. Up in the air. Kat Hassler can't get that one either. Having a tough time battling that wind. Now here's a question I have for you, Shannon. I watched a lot of college softball this year as well. Why is it that softball catchers don't throw the mask off on a foul ball, but baseball players do it all the time?
I don't know, because I am a coach that was a proponent of throwing the helmet off so you get better vision on the ball, but it is something in the game. These girls do not take the helmet off.
Is it the hair issue?
I don't know, to be honest with you, but I was a coach that was always the first one screaming about getting the helmet and getting the mask off so you could see better. I don't have a great answer for you. It's a terrific question.
Okay.
I don't have a great answer for you because I was not a proponent of leaving that on. So
I brought that up at a recent college softball game, and I had some people arguing with me about it. 2-2 count as that one misses on Roundtree. Yeah, I just say you'll have better vision if you get that thing off.
Yep.
I think it's a hair thing.
I don't know. I was the wrong person to ask that question to. I'm sorry.
That one's fouled out of play, so the count holds 2-2 on Roundtree. 2 outs, bases empty here in the top of the 4th.
Two years ago, this Cape team was my team, and I was on Slater all the time about flipping the mask off so she could she could see better.
All right, the next interview I have with a player that's a catcher or a coach, I'm asking that question.
I will too. We'll see what we can come up with.
Yeah. I guess Layfield needed a moment. She stepped back off the rubber, collect herself.
Typically in high school, you don't see a lot of pitchers shaking off the call that comes in. They sort of just go with it. In that case, I think she wasn't crazy about whatever they were sending into her, so she just took a second to collect herself.
And it worked. A swinging strikeout and another 1-2-3 inning for Madge Layfield. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Sussex Central in front by a score of 3-1 over the Cape Henlopen Vikings as we keep it right here. And how about a striking out the side? Not just 1, 2, 3, all 3 Ks.
She must have heard me say she only had 3 to that point and didn't like that statistic.
Somebody have our feet on in the dugout,
yeah,
maybe.
Comes right back and sets them down 1, 2, 3.
So in the bottom of the fourth for the Golden Knights, they'll have Eikenberry, the designated player, then Savage, the center fielder, and then the top of the order with Dakala Davis. Trying to add to their 3-1 advantage here over Cape Henlopen.
And while we have a sec, we'll talk about some of these Cape Henlopen juniors that Mike Tack has planned for him. We've already mentioned that Calciano is a UConn commit. Olivia Hears is a junior. She's visited and I guess interested in St. Joe's, the last I heard. Senior Jalen Slater's the catcher. She'll be attending Dell State. I believe she's trying to continue her softball career there as well. Pitcher Abby Marsh, one of the other juniors. Looking at Christopher Newport, some D2, D3 schools. Hayden Hudson, another junior, has had visits with Columbia and Lafayette. So I think this is another lineup of Delaware softball players that will be able to go on and continue their careers and get an education at the same time. And that's always wonderful to see these girls that are able to do that. And any of them that get scholarship money on top of it, obviously that's a bonus.
Right. These two teams have tough games coming up next as well. Number 9 Indian River is the next opponent for John Wells and the Golden Knights. As here's the first pitch, ground ball. Third baseman fields it, throws across the diamond, and there's an out on one pitch.
Indian River and Cape was a close game as well. River kind of held on there at the end to beat them 9-8, but that was a good game between those two teams as well.
That brings up the bottom of the order, and Savage, the center fielder. She singled and stole a base and scored last inning. Bunt attempt goes foul. And then for Cape Henlopen, their next game is a 5-4 Caesar Rodney team that's a solid program. They're looking to try to crack my top 10.
Yeah, they lost Shields, to graduation as their pitcher, so I think they're rebuilding in that position a little bit. But Sky Boris always puts together a great team, and that's been a really strong program over the years, so you can never count them out.
1-1 count on Savage. One out here in the bottom of the fourth inning in a 3-1 Golden Knight advantage. Abby Marsh toes the rubber. Called strike. So a ball and 2 strikes on Savage. Davis is on deck.
We'll see her for the third time today as they roll the order over. We'll see what Avery Savage can do here.
Ground ball and foul down the first base line. Count holds at 1-2.
Savage, a 10th grader here at Sussex Central, one of few.
Yeah.
He's got 9th grade, he's got 12th grade. There's very few in between, but she's one of them.
Marsh ready to go. Check swing and a foul ball. Straight back. Count holds at 1-2. Davis on deck has an RBI. She actually got a sacrifice fly and scored a runner from second base.
Taking advantage of the fact these outfielders are throwing into the wind. Makes it hard for them to get that ball home in time to catch the runner.
Just missed outside corner.
That was a nice pitch Abby Marsh just delivered there.
Count runs to 2-2. And again, just getting a piece of that one. And Savage battling up there.
I was going to say, what a great at-bat. She's up to seeing 6 pitches in this at-bat. It's one of the qualifiers we look at for quality at-bats. Do you have a 6 or more at-bat, a pitch at-bat, an 8 or more pitch at-bat?
Takes high. Count runs full. And Savage has the opportunity here to set the table for the top of the order again. Here's the full count pitch. Oh, I think it hit her.
Looks like it deflected right off her shoulder.
So she's on base for the second time. That brings up Davis, who's flied to flied to left and flied out to center. That was the RBI.
Savage with Central's only stolen base on the day. We'll see if she takes off running.
And we'll see if Davis gives her the opportunity. Takes low for a ball. Brock is on deck. That misses low. Davis digs in, ahead in the count. Got it up in the air, deep left. Getting under it and making the catch is Holston. Excuse me,
Tally
is Roundtree. Roundtree gets it back in the infield just to make sure there was no tag in advance. So that's 3 straight at bats, fly balls to the outfield for Davis.
Yeah, that's the second out of the inning. Still leaves Savage over at first for Ava Brock,
who's hit the ball to short both times. Grounded out to Ava Calciano and reached base when Ava was battling the wind on a pop-up and couldn't quite come up with it.
Takes signs from Coach Wells before she steps in the box.
This is a big batter in the game because Myers on deck has 2 singles. And there's a stolen base by Savage, her second of the game.
And strange that after that pitch came in, she actually swung through that just to get in Slater's way to help advance that runner and give her a chance to steal second.
Yeah, and you could tell she wasn't really swinging for
No.
contact there.
Ball was way low in the zone. She just kind of took a warm-up swing.
Now she gets it in the air out to center field, and the catch is made out there by Bree Windish, and that will end the 4th inning. No scoring for either team, 1 runner stranded after reaching base on hit by pitch. So we're through 4 innings. It's still 3-1 in favor of Sussex Central. We'll be back for the 5th inning right after this.
Paint Doctor, making house calls for your sick walls. Richard C. Edwards Jr., the owner of Paint Doctor, started it all in 2002. Paint Doctor prides itself on its personal yet professional approach to working with customers and holds itself to the highest standards with all projects. The Paint Doctor staff follows one main objective when performing our services. Customers and their homes are treated with the utmost respect. Our workmanship and quality of personnel is demanded at every step of the project. We treat your home as we would expect someone to treat ours. Preparation before painting is paramount. Just open the door and we will handle the rest. Paint Doctor also believes in a strong community involvement as well by supporting several local sporting teams, leagues, and schools. Paint Doctor services include interior and exterior painting as well as carpentry. Please visit our website at paintdoctorpainting.com for information or coupons to help with your next job. Paint Doctor.
All right, just about ready to go to start the 5th inning in this ball game, and the bats have kind of gone silent the last couple of innings. The pitchers starting to take over.
They have. The pitchers have settled in a little bit. Finding the zone, it's always something you have to take an inning or 2 to do. Figure out, how you're going to please and what that umpire wants today. He likes a little bit lower in the zone, so we've seen Layfield throw a little bit higher and not get that call. I think what she's really relying on is she'll put them down in the zone and then go high and see if they'll chase. And Abby Marsh, same thing. They're just continuing to adjust and tweak. We're seeing that. So as the game goes on and the pitchers settle in, they get better, and it's taking the bats out of the game a little bit. Plus, Central's hit a bunch of fly balls, and that's it. Takes one person to get you out if you hit a fly ball. We always are looking for that line drive ground ball where it takes more than one person to handle the ball to get you out. And Central's lofted put them in the air today. So credit to Cape's defense fighting the wind and making those plays.
That's fouled back. Ball and a strike on Bree Windish. She struck out back in the 2nd inning. On deck, Eden Frederick, who lined out to second base, also in the 2nd. Cape's bottom of the lineup, seeing if they can do some damage here. Trailing 3-1. Another foul back.
Windish has been busy in center field today. She's had a couple of balls come her way, been able to make the catch.
I really thought with this wind that if anybody got the ball up here on the left side, it would go out of here.
I agree.
There's a swing and a miss and a strikeout. And that is 4 straight strikeouts for Madge Layfield.
7 on the day. I think she heard me say she only had 3 in the first couple innings, because after that, she's been mowing them down.
Eden Frederick, the second baseman, up now. So lined out to second. Back in the second inning. Trying to set the table for the top of the order, and Ava Calciano. Ava's been on both times today. So she continues that hitting streak now at 16 games.
Like I said, looking at some of the statistics that Coach Tack sent me today, she's leading Cape in most offensive categories at this point of the season. Again, that's what you want out of your leadoff hitter. You want her on base. You want her leading the team, and she sort of sets the tempo. That's a lot of it is mental. Hitting is a lot about, your mental state and being confident. So, if you have a leadoff hitter that's a really good quality hitter that gets on base and figures it out, that tends to settle your team down right away. And they figure if she can hit, so can I. And that sort of carries through your lineup. So that's an important position to Kyla Davis for the Knights, holding down that position for John Wells, and Calciano doing it for the Vikings.
A 3-pitch strikeout for Madge Layfield, and that is now 5 straight. Brings up Calciano with 2 outs. She's doubled and walked and been stranded stranded one time, thrown out trying to steal third, her first at bat. Now we got a little confusion here. So Sussex Central is going to take a timeout.
Well, I think this becomes about the plan of how you go and attack Ava Calciano. She's been the toughest out today in the Vikings lineup, so they're trying to get a plan together of what they want to do with her, and are they going to try to keep her off base, or is it a situation where you walk her and take your chances, or you're going to throw to her? Several different strategies they can take to limit the damage that Calciano can do.
All right, timeout is over. Calciano back in the box. Swings at the first pitch, fly ball, right center field. Center fielder calls and makes the catch. That's Avery Savage out there, retiring the final out of this top of the 5th. So once again, a 1-2-3 inning for Madge Layfield now, as she is retired 9 in a row.
And only threw 6 pitches that inning. So she's getting more efficient. Her defense is working behind her. We always talk to pitchers about, you don't have to strike them all out. You have 7 people standing behind you. Let your defense play behind you. So she is letting that happen when she's not able to strike them out, and they're coming through for her. So that's important.
Through the years, you talk about high school softball in Delaware, and the Henlopen Conference seems to always be right there, Shannon, with somebody playing for a championship. Most of the times they're battling that team from Bear, Delaware that Randy Johnson coaches, the Caravel Buccaneers. But
yeah, it's something crazy, like 25 out of the last 27 years. He's been in the finals. It's crazy.
Yeah, and he's got another good team. They've got a solid offense. They're relying on Casey Zanitis in the circle.
And Arrowhead's an 8th grader. She's been kind of cleaning up some innings in different situations. So he's got one in the pipeline, so to speak, ready to go.
Well, he had one in the pipeline last year. Remember the freshman sensation?
He did. Morgan Maxwell. She moved to North Carolina. But he just, next man up mentality. He just found another one. Yep. And credit to Arrowhead as an 8th grader, throwing varsity games and being successful. But Henlopen Conference softball is always strong and continues to be.
All right, here we go. Bottom of the 5th, showing bunt and pulling back. That is a ball on Myers, who has singled twice. She also scored a run back in the first inning, and she has an RBI. Takes that low, so it's 2-0.
And is one of the freshmen, I believe, in this lineup as well.
Marsh gets that one in the zone.
It's always fun to see freshmen become what we call impact players and positively produce for their teams, because you know that you get to see that for 3 more years, you know, and how good can they become before they leave high school. There's a single up the middle to center.
3 for 3.
3 for 3.
Well, this freshman here is having a day. Brings up Madge Layfield, the pitcher, and they kind of pitch around her very carefully. They walked her on 4 pitches in the first inning. Her second time up to bat, she grounded out.
Yeah, they're not going to give her anything she can drive. She just rolled that ball over and grounded out to third last time.
She got that one up in the air, right side, coming in and making the catch. The right fielder for Cape Henlopen, Kenna Justice. First time, I think first time Kenna's had any action out there.
I was going to say, it's the first time we've called her name today.
One away. With Myers at first, it brings up Kirsten Anderson, the right fielder, who singled and flied out to left. Pitch misses low.
Unfortunately, in the last inning, Abby Marsh had a hard time getting ahead of hitters, and that has been true today as well.
Great throw by Slater down to get Myers on the attempted steal. I mean, that throw was right on the money. I can't remember if it was I guess that was Calciano that made the catch.
Yeah.
All she had to do was catch the ball. It was right there, perfect.
Perfect placement by Jalen Slater. Great job behind the plate. And Anderson drives a base hit here to left field.
It's always so important to get the runners out on those stolen base attempts, and there's the reason why.
That'll bring catcher Kat Hassler to the plate. She's flied out to center and then went right back to Abby Marsh, fielding her position.
Ground ball, and that's right through the box. So that's where that stolen base attempt. Okay. And Slater's throw was huge. That would have been a run there.
Absolutely.
3 hits this inning for the Golden Knights, but nothing to show for it yet. Brings up Kruger. She's singled and lined out to the pitcher.
And again, you know, we've talked about Cape seems to get 2 outs, and then the Knights just start putting base hits together. They start stringing things along. So we're going to have to see if they can limit that damage this inning and keep them off the scoreboard as we see Kruger and Eikenberry on deck.
And so far, John Wells' team has 8 hits today, 3 in this inning.
Yeah, they're putting the ball in play up the middle for the most part, which tells you the hitter's timing is spot on. And they're just, you know, working gap to gap right now.
Yeah, best place you can hit it, right back through the box. This is a close ball game. Let's see if Cape can keep it close or whether the Golden Knights break it open. Kruger's 1 for 2. Another one of those freshman starters for Coach Wells.
Sister Kylie played over at Sussex Tech, had a phenomenal career at Del Tech.
That must have just missed. And that one missed too. The umpire saying they're too high. So a 2-0 count on Kruger. Eikenberry on deck. Ground ball right to short. Long thrower to first and dug out by Hudson to end the rally and end the inning. So, again, the key in that half inning was Slater throwing out the attempted steal by Myers. And that keeps our score at 3-1 through 5 innings. We go to the 6th inning right after these messages.
Welcome to Premier Physical Therapy and Sports Performance. We're a locally owned outpatient physical therapy practice with convenient locations in all 3 counties in Delaware. At Premier, we have experienced physical therapists with advanced credentials, but their hospitality, passion, and enthusiasm is what makes the difference for you. Find our convenient locations at premierptsp.com.
You may have tried physical therapy,
But have you tried Premier? Welcome to Premier Physical.
Well, we're just about ready to get rolling here in the 6th inning. We're getting late in the game. All the scoring was done in the first 2 innings as we're holding with a 3-1 score. I'm Glenn Frazier alongside Shannon Timmons. Brandon Hill on camera. This is a Benny Mitchell production, and let me tell you, he works for it, folks. You should have seen him trying to put this 10 up in that 25-mile-an-hour wind. He got the instructions out, and well, actually there weren't instructions, but he was told this was a one-person installation.
Not today.
No, it took 3 of us. All right. 5 innings in the books, and you brought up something interesting in the break. You said there have been no strikeouts by Abby Marsh in the ballgame.
Yeah, that's really surprising. So that just means that her defense is working really, really hard behind her today to keep Central at bay.
Okay, we get started here in the top of the 6th with Olivia Hears, and she's 0 for 2, struck out and grounded out. And she takes a strike right down the middle.
And Cape's outfield's been busy today. Calciano at short's been busy today. So credit to the defense for all their work behind their pitcher. And again, there's 7 people that stand behind a pitcher for a reason. She doesn't have to do all the work and strike them all out. The defense has to play behind them.
Little pop up in the infield. Davis corrals that one, and there's 1 out here in the top of the 6th. That brings up Jalen Slater, the catcher, who maybe had the biggest play of that last half inning.
Absolutely. Definitely kept a run off the board for Sussex Central by throwing out the runner stealing.
Officially 0 for 1. She was hit by a pitch and scored Cape's only run back in the 1st inning.
Slater headed to Dell State next year. I'm assuming she will continue her softball career there.
She takes that pitch on the outside, and that is called a ball. I think she's ahead 2-0.
She is. And now they're calling for confirmation on the check swing.
Mm-hmm.
And they said she did not go. So she's ahead in the count.
Layfield's delivery is high, ball 3. Keep in mind, Madge has retired. 10 in a row coming into this batter. 5 via strikeout.
And Slater's got 2 home runs on the season, so she can create some power and go long ball if she gets a hold of something. So another hitter they have to be careful with.
Layfield checks the wristband. Here's the 3-1 pitch. That's up in the air. Out here, just hits the base of the fence. Headed to second base, and a stand-up double for Jalen Slater. And that is the first ball we've seen deep with the wind blowing out this way.
She made me look good. I just got done saying she can hit for power. Thanks, Jaylyn.
I think you've got a direct communication pipeline going in here today.
I do know these girls a little bit.
And we're going to get a designated runner now.
I think that's number 10, Mikulski, again, as a courtesy runner for Jaylyn because she's the catcher. Brings Hayden Hudson to the plate, who has walked and had a little pop-up to second base.
Okay, we've got the changes in. Cousin to cousin. And that one right across the knees for a strike.
It's always nice to have these lefties in your order. You know, we talk about hitting behind your runners. If Hayden gets something to the right side of the field here, that's an advantage to this runner where Tack can potentially score her.
You know, Hayden's quickly in the hole here, 0-2. Gets the sign from head coach Tack in that third base coach's box. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Coming out this way. Catch is made by the left fielder. Retreating to second base is the designated runner, so now 2 outs. Nice play out here.
And Mikulski, the runner for Cape, is actually lucky because the left fielder threw to third.
Right.
And she was halfway there. They might have had a play on her at second if she'd have thrown to second.
Yeah.
Trying to double her up.
Holston just playing the percentages, I guess, and figured she was going to tag.
And Davis at short calling for the ball, but she threw to third instead.
Probably couldn't hear her with all that wind.
Agreed. Brings Abby Marsh to the plate.
March takes, and that's a called strike. She's 1 for 2 today, singled and struck out. She has the only RBI. Layfield on the rubber.
See the catcher creep outside a little bit.
She showed bunt.
Fouled it off.
Yeah, I think a dead ball. Fouled off, either hit her in the box or the catcher. Nevertheless, an 0-2 count on Abby Marsh now.
You can see Hassler sliding out way early on that last pitch. Not sure if they thought that runner was going to take off or what.
Swing, foul tip, and caught by Kat Hassler to end the top half of the 6th and strand that runner at second base. Head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Let's see if Sussex Central can get any more insurance runs on the board before we head to the top of the 7th. They have a 3-1 lead as they come up once again with the bottom of the order. It'll be Eikenberry, Savage, and then back to the top with Davis.
And I'll tell you, that last pitch, Hassler makes that look easy. That is not an easy task to catch that ball that's fouled off the bat. That's right in front of your face. So credit to Hassler for hanging on to that back there.
Certainly. And that double by Slater was the first hit for Cape since back in the 3rd inning. And they've only had, what, 3? That's their third hit.
That's their 3rd hit.
Yeah.
Well, Madge has been dealing, and you said put 10 down in a row, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. Until that double, right. I know we were talking during the last break about the strong competition of softball and the tradition in the Henlopen Conference. There's so many teams that are right there. You take a look at the current top 10. We have Laurel, Sussex Central, Lake, Polytech, Indian River, Cape Henlopen. 6 out of the top 10 teams are from the Henlopen Conference.
it's always been a strong conference for as many years back as I can remember. And the tournament is always full of Henlopen teams. There's always great softball, terrific pitching across the board.
Ground ball over to short. Calciano up with it. Strong throw across the diamond to Hudson, and there's out number one. You mentioned Calciano's been busy today.
Yeah, between her and the outfitters, they've had to work to get the outs for sure today.
Brings up the bottom of the order, and Avery Savage, the center fielder. She's hit by a pitch and singled, so she's been on both times. That one's in tight, and I think that hit her. It did. That's the second time she's been hit by a pitch.
And that is not the kid that you want to put on, because she has stolen 2 bases today in each of her trips down to first base.
So she's the first with 1 out for Davis, the leadoff batter. Davis has flied out to the outfield, all 3 at bats. Takes the first pitch for a called strike. Davis has flied to left field twice, center field once. High pitch, that's a ball. And that time Savage was really trying to draw a throw.
Slater doing the right thing just by getting up and walking out towards her.
Fly ball again. This one is way out of here. A home run for Davis. And there's your insurance runs. The first time we saw a ball really get up in the air, and that wind just took it way out of here.
Well, you knew that as soon as she hit it, that it was headed out.
That's the advantage of being posted right here in left field. We could tell that one was going out quick. So it's now a 5-1 lead for Sussex Central on the 2-run homer by Davis.
And I hate to say, but it was only a matter of time. She's flied out to left twice, flied out to center. She can hit for power, so she just finally got one lifted up enough to get out of here.
Sure did. First runs given up by Abby Marsh since back in the second inning. And that brings up Brock, the second baseman, who's reached on an error, grounded out, and flied out to center. Takes for a ball.
Nine hits on the day for Sussex Central.
There's a called strike down low.
Generating 5 runs. So good offensive production overall for John Wells and his squad.
There's a fly ball center field. And drifting back to make the catch, Bree Windish for out number 2.
Looked like she took a little bit of a stutter step trying to get a read on that ball too.
Second consecutive at bat where Brock has flied out to Windish in center. You talked about the outfielders being active today.
And that brings Lauren Myers to the plate, who is 3 for 3. Has had a great day at the plate.
Yeah, the freshman doing an awesome job. She takes inside and tight for a ball. Down 5-1, Cape Henlopen will have Justice, Roundtree, and Windish, the scheduled batters, in the top of the 7th. There's a called strike.
I think his zone's getting lower as the day goes on. Goodness gracious.
Marsh ready with a 1-1 pitch. Popped up right side, now to play. Ball and 2 strikes on Lauren Myers, trying to get the perfect day at the plate.
And 2 out of her other 3 at-bats, she's been in the hole with 2 strikes before she's been able to produce.
She lines it right to shortstop Calciano. That was a good swing. And she came pretty close to going for 4. We are through 6 innings. We'll see if Cape Henlopen can tie this thing up. Benny Mitchell says, no, I don't want extra innings. We'll be right back for the 7th inning right after this.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer, president of Sodell Concepts, the best restaurant group in the state, and we're inviting you to come join our team. Sodell Concepts is a growing hospitality company with 16 restaurants and a variety of other hospitality businesses, all located in beautiful southern Delaware. We have recently added many departments to our executive leadership team, including a training department, a property development department, and a construction department. We invite you to come live at the beach and work with a growing restaurant group with many opportunities to advance your career. Sodell Concepts Restaurant Group, come check us out.
All right, here we go, top of the 7th inning. And really, 1 run scored by Cape back in the first inning. Since then, Madge Layfield has put the pedal to the metal.
9 strikeouts. 7 of those coming after that first inning. So she found her groove and figured out a way to adjust to this umpire zone and get Cape hitters to chase a little bit.
Here's the first pitch. Missed high for a ball. Now, Kenna Justice has struck out looking at both at bats. Trying to get on base, get something going here for the Vikings. That's a called strike at the knees. Roundtree is a scheduled batter on deck, and then Bree Windish. Oh, fly ball, center field, left center, it's going to gap. Go to the fence, she's on her way to second and a stand-up double to lead off the 7th. First hit of the game for Kenna Justice, and only the 4th hit off of Madge Layfield.
Won't be surprised if We're seeing Coach Tack give some signs. Won't be surprised if Roundtree bunts her to third.
Roundtree, the left fielder, she struck out and flied to center. There's a shot up the middle. That's a hit. And they're going to send the runner. Slides under the tag. She's safe. Justice scores. Roundtree moves up to second on the throw with the RBI single. I thought that might have been a bad move by Coach Tack to send that runner because it looked like she was going to be dead out. But again, the wind comes into play.
Correct. They're having a hard time getting that ball all the way to home in time to catch any runner. And then when that throw goes home, that enables Roundtree to take second, puts her in scoring position for Bree Windish.
Bree also has struck out both at bats. Takes a called strike. Eden Frederick is scheduled on deck. 5-2 game now here. Layfield toes the rubber. Then she steps back. And when she stepped back, Windish says, you know what? I'm going to step out of the box. Umpire was saying something to her. I think it might have been, you need to call time, don't just step out. There's a shot up the middle, another hit. They're going to hold the runner this time, but moving up to second is Windish on the throw to the plate. 3 consecutive hits here in the top of the 7th for the Vikings.
Now that it's 6 hits on the day for Kate.
Yeah, and 3 in this inning. Half of them. Well, that brings up Eden Frederick and then the top of the order, and there's nobody out.
So Coach Wells going out to settle his defense down, talk to them, get a strategy in play here.
Key batter in Frederick because you got Calciano coming up next. They did finally retire her back in the 5th inning on a fly out to center. But before that, she's doubled and walked. Credit Cape for coming back here in this top half of the 7th after they really could not do much of anything with Madge Layfield in the middle innings.
In this part of the order, Kenna Justice starting it off after striking out twice. So, sometimes that's just a mental hurdle to get over late in the game, and she's able to do that. Roundtree able to get a single. Windish had struck out twice as well. She's able to single back up the middle.
Yeah, good at bats, all 3 of them. Solid stroke, good contact made. John Wells had a little conversation with these infielders and pitcher Madge Layfield.
And this is going to be Melina Bueller, not Eden Frederick.
You're right. It's number 3, right?
Yep.
So Bueller comes in as a pinch hitter here in the 7th. That's a bunt down. And a safe at home. And it was a delayed play. They laid down the bunt, the runner on third. Who was that? That was Roundtree. She started and then stopped. But then with a hesitation defensively, she went ahead and just got under the tag. Still nobody out. Now it's 5-3. Or did they get the runner
they
out
got
at first?
Bueller
They
out
did
at
get
first.
her out at first. Okay.
So there's 1 out.
Runner on second for Calciano. Boy, is that 2-run homer by Davis looking bigger.
Absolutely right.
I mean, if not for that, this would be a 3-3 ball game. Calciano, ground ball to short. Davis over to first. She got the speedy runner, and there was only 2 outs, and the base runner's going to score. They thought there were 3 outs, and the first baseman just tossed the ball down on the ground. She thought the game was over, and now it's a 1-run ball game.
Wow. Really important that they know how many outs there are in a situation like this. That could be costly error.
2 outs, bases are clean for Olivia Heers. He's 0 for 3 in the game. Now there's a little bit of discussion. Oh, they're going to intentionally walk Hears, who was 0 for 3 on the game, and now they're going to pitch to Slater, who doubled her last time up.
That is an interesting choice by Sussex Central.
Yes, it is.
But he's going with the trend of the kids who have struggled today have come through in this inning and gotten base hits.
Ball 1 to Slater.
And maybe that's his rationale.
Oh, listen, who am I to question John Wells? He knows what he's doing, that's for sure. So runner at first, 2 outs, top of the 7th. It's a 1-run game. Called strike. Now Slater doubled last inning but was stranded at second base. What looked like was going to be a 4-run victory for Central is now a tight 1-run game, and there's a ball. 2-1. Hayden Hudson is on deck. Should she get the opportunity? There's a called strike and a 2-2 count now on Slater. Slater stepped back in the box.
Tack giving signs to Hears over at first base.
Popped up, out of play on the first base side. Stays alive, 2-2 count. This game has turned out to be everything we thought it was going to be. And now Madge Layfield wants a new signal. She didn't like the pitch that was called out. Back on the rubber. Ground ball, right side, second base up with it, throw over to first, and that will end the game. But what a finish. We had a 3-1 ball game with all the runs scored in the first 2 innings, and then 5 runs from the 2 teams scored in the final 7th inning. But what a finish, Shannon.
Yeah, Cape, just credit to them for staying in the game and continuing to work. And, one of the things we always tell players is just keep playing. And they did that today, putting up 3 runs here in the 7th, trying to make a comeback, making a 1-run ball game. But Central's going to hang on to win 5-4. And that home run from Davis is huge.
Oh, it was huge, he's right. And it was hit way out of here. I bet that was at least 25, 30 feet beyond the outfield fence when it's hit. So give a credit to Sussex Central for getting this win today. And what a good ball game from both teams. Cape Henlopen showing a lot of moxie coming back in the top of the 7th. And it looked like they were just down and out. 3 consecutive hits to score 3 runs and get back in it and have an opportunity. But a 5-4 win by the Golden Knights. Any final comments, Shannon, before we put this one in the books?
I can just give you the final pitcher stats.
All right.
Madge Layfield with 9 strikeouts, 2 walks, 6 hits, gave up 4 runs, hit 1 batter. Abby Marsh, no strikeouts, 1 walk, gave up 9 hits and 5 runs, 1 hit batter.
All right, that'll do it here from Sussex Central High School with the Golden Knights, our 4th-ranked team in our top 10 poll, coming through with a 5-4 win over the 10th-ranked Cape Henlopen Vikings. Our thanks to Brandon Hill on camera, both head coaches, and to Shannon Timmons. I'm Glenn Fraser. Thanks for watching this live stream, a Benny Mitchell production on Delaware Live, powered by 302 Sports.
Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned, community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools,